Hi, I'm Giancarlo Esposito, and I'm going to read you a story today called The Story of Ferdinand by Munro Leaf, with drawings by Robert Lawson. This is the story of Ferdinand. El toro feroz, Ferdinando. The Story of Ferdinand by Munro Leaf. Once upon a time, in Spain, there was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. The other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. But not Ferdinand. He liked to just sit quietly and smell the flowers. He really loved flowers. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree. There's Ferdinand on his way to the cork tree. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. Oh, he looks like he's having a nice, peaceful time. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid that he would be lonesome all by himself. Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head, she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. I like it better here where I can just sit quietly and smell the flowers. His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him just sit there and be happy. As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew and grew until he grew big and strong. All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. Big ad for the fights in Madrid. All of them wanted to go. But not Ferdinand. He just liked to sit quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. See Ferdinand up there? One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fastest, toughest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. Look at these guys. They look interesting, huh? Big hats, one with a very, very big mustache. All the other bulls ran around snorting and butting and leaping and jumping so the men would think that they were very, very, very strong and fierce and pick them. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care. So he went out to his favorite cork tree to sit down. He didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice, soft, cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? You would sting him. And that's just what this bee did to Ferdinand. Wow, did it hurt? Ferdinand jumped with a snort. He ran around puffing and snorting and butting and pawing the ground as if he were crazy. The 5 men saw him, and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest, fiercest bull of all, just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. Look at Ferdinand. I think that bee sting hurt. So they took him away for bullfight day in a cart. There's Ferdinand on his way to Madrid. What a day it was. Flags were flying. Bands were playing, and all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. Look at the ladies with the flowers in their hair. They had a parade into the bull ring. First came the bandoleros, with long, sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick in the bull and make him mad. Then came the picadores, who rode skinny horses and had long spears to stick in the bull and make him even madder. Look at those picadores. Long sticks so they could keep their distance so the bull couldn't get them. Then came the matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very, very handsome and bowed to the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword and was supposed to stick the bull last of all. Then came the bull. And you know who that was, don't you? Ferdinand. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce. And all the bandoleros were afraid of him. And all the picadores were afraid of him. And the matador was scared stiff. What are we going to do? He's so big, he's so strong, he's so fierce. Ferdinand ran into the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. There's the audience. It's a big ring full with people, all very excited that Ferdinando is going to give them some excitement, but not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw and smelled all the flowers in all the lovely ladies' hair, and he just sat down quietly and smelled. Ferdinando, he just sat very, very happy to smell the flowers once again. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did. He just sat and smelled. And the bandoleros were mad, and the picadores were madder, and the matador was so mad he cried because he couldn't show off with his cape and his sword. The bandoleros and picadores. There's Ferdinando. There's the matador in tears. So they had to bring Fernando home. And for all I know, he's still sitting there under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers, just quietly. El Toro Feroz. The story of Ferdinando by Munro Leaf.